Hey guys, okay, we're gonna do the video for 3-19 using the volume formulas. In 3-18, we talked about just plugging them in. This video is gonna be kind of lengthy because I'm gonna go over 5 examples, so it's gonna take a little while. Just try to, if you need to, skip to the parts that you need. Okay, let's take a look at the first example. So the first example here, we have to find the volume of this shape. And I'm going to do that by having to use Pythagorean Theorem. What I have here is I have basically a cone on a slant. This can't be the height because the height is measured up and down. This is on a slant, so I need to find this length. This is a right triangle here. The best way to find a length of one side given two others of a triangle is Pythagorean Theorem. So I'm going to use a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Remember, c is always the hypotenuse. So I have 5 squared plus b squared equals 13 squared. I'm going to use my calculator. This is 25 plus b squared, and I'm just double checking, but 13 squared is 169. I'm going to subtract 25. B squared, so minus 25 equals 144. Then I'm going to square root that. So B equals 12. That means that this height here that I found using Pythagorean Theorem is 12. I'm going to write that in there. Okay, now I need to find the volume of the cone. The cone. I can do that because I have the height. Knowing the formula for the volume of a cone, V equals big B, let me try that again. Volume equals 1/3 big B times H. All right, I have the H, I have the height, the big B, this is the area of the base. Area of the base. Not the base, area of the base. The area of the base here is, or the shape of the base is a circle. So to find the area of the base, I have to use pi r squared. This is pi r squared here to find that. I'm going to plug that in. V equals 1/3 pi r squared times h. Now I can plug in my information. My height is 12. The radius of the base is 8. And I have 1/3 equals v. Just like I've mentioned in previous videos, pi can just come along for the ride. So I'm going to plug into my calculator 1/3 times 64 times 12. And let's see if I got a whole number. Ooh. V equals 256 pi. That is the volume of this shape. So to recap real quickly, I did Pythagorean theorem to find the height. Then I used that height in my volume of a cone formula. I had to find out the area of the base, which is pi r squared, so I plugged that in. Okay, that's this example. Next. This one is similar. Let me make sure you guys can see it. Okay, this one is similar to the last example, in that I need to find the height of this cone. But this time what they did is they gave me the angle. What I could do is if I have a side of a triangle, right triangle, and an angle, I could use trig. You guys may remember SOHCAHTOA. Okay, I'm going to label my triangle. This is going to be opposite. This is the hypotenuse across from the right angle. This is adjacent. I need to find the opposite side, and they gave me the hypotenuse. So I'm going to use sine. So sine 60 equals, I'm just going to make that an x over 8. And I'm going to cross multiply. So I have x equals 8 times sine 60. I'm going to plug that into my calculator. 8 times sine 60. And I get x equals 4 square root 3. Now, you may be thinking, what am I going to do with 4 square root 3? But that is the height, and we could use that. That is a number. Don't become intimidated by radicals or irrational numbers. We'll deal with it, just like we deal with everything else. So, the volume of a cone, we just talked about that, is V equals 1/3 big B times H. And like I mentioned before, big B is the area of the base. The area of this base is pi r squared because this is a circle. Okay, turns out, as I look at the problem, that I don't have the radius too. So now what I have to do is I have the height. Let's write this out. So this is pi r squared times h. V equals 1/3, right? And I have the height, which is 4 square root 3. I have to find the radius. Well, that's adjacent over hypotenuse, so I'm going to use cosine. Cosine 60 equals x over 8. I'm going to cross multiply. So I have x equals 8 times cosine 60. This is 8 times cosine 60. So x equals 4. Okay, so now I have my radius. My radius is 4. I use trig. I use trig to find the height. So this is how I found the height. And this is how I found the radius. All right, so that's pi 4 squared. Okay, so I got V equals 1/3 pi 16 times 4/3. I'm going to do this in pieces because or else I'm afraid I'll get a decimal. So I'm going to go 16 times 4 square root 3. And that's 64 square root 3 times 1 over 3. And I got V equals 64 square root 3 over 3 pi. Okay, there it is. Don't get intimidated by those square root signs. I know it looks crazy, but keep in mind the calculator does most of that work. All right, 3 more to go here. So now I have this problem. It gives me the volume of this rectangular pyramid is 180 kilometers cubed. What is the width? I have to find this length. All right. The volume of this shape is 1/3 big B times H. Just like before, big B is the area of the base. Well, the area of the base is length times width. So V equals 1/3 length times width. Let me keep those lowercase letters. Length times width times height. All right, this is length times width. Okay, let's plug in the information I have. I have the height, I have one dimension, and I have the volume. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to have 180. Let me do that up here so I have the room. I'm going to say 180 equals 1/3 times 9 times W, or x. I guess I could make that x. That'll make myself life a little bit easier. Times 10. And all I'm going to do from here is solve for x. I can combine these terms, and I'm going to do that. So 180 equals 1/3 times 9 is 3, times 10 is 30. But I'm going to double check that. I'm going to say 1/3 times 9 times 10. I'm going to get 30. So that gives me 30x. I multiplied these three together to get 30. How do I get x by itself? I divide it out. I divide out the 30 is what I do. And 180 divided by 30 is 60. But again, I'm going to use my calculator to double check. Whoops, it's 6. Ooh, this zeros canceled out. Okay, so see, that's what the calculator is used for, is to help you catch the little mistakes. Okay, next. Ooh, one more to go after this. Like I said, guys, this is a long video because we're doing a lot of different examples. Find the radius of the given cylinder that has a volume of 72 pi. All right, so the volume of the cylinder is big B times h. Big B is the area of the base, so this is pi r squared. V equals pi r squared times h. I want to find the radius. They gave me 72 pi as the volume, and they gave me the height. I'm going to tell you that in my opinion, when they give you pi in the volume, it makes the problem a whole lot easier, and you're going to see why. Why I feel that way anyway. So now I have to start isolating the radius. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide out pi. Pi divided by pi is 1. I don't know if you'll be able to see it here, but I'm going to show you anyway. Pi divided by pi equals 1. So it cancels itself out for using that terminology. So I have 72 equals r squared times 8. Now I'm going to divide 72 by 8, and I get 9. Then I'm going to square root that, and the square root of 9 is 3. And that is that answer. I found the radius of that cylinder. Okay, last one. This is a long video. Here we have a capsule, and I need to find the volume of it. A capsule is comprised of a cylinder and two hemispheres. Two hemispheres together are a sphere. So all I really have to do is find the volume of a sphere, the volume of a cylinder, and add it together. So let's find the volume of this cylinder first. So this is going to be the cylinder. Let me label that. This is the cylinder first. So the volume of a cylinder is volume equals big B times h. Big B is the area of the base. If you wondered why I repeated that over and over again throughout this video, which is very long, it's because that is the error we're going to make. The area we're going to make is we're going to plug 6 in for big B. We don't want to do that. We want to find the area of the base. So the base of the cylinder is a circle. That's pi r squared. Or pi r squared times h. V equals pi 6 squared times 5. V equals 36 pi times 5. Let's see what 36 times 5 is. 180. 36 times 5 is 180. V equals 180 pi. This is the volume of the cylinder. I did not find the volume of the sphere yet. I'm going to do that now. So the sphere. Okay. The volume of the sphere is V equals 4/3 pi r cubed. V equals 4/3 pi, the radius is 6. 6 cubed. 6 cubed is 216. So V equals 4/3 pi 216. Now remember, I'm writing all these steps out for you. This calculator does a lot of this work for you. 4 times 216, divide by 3. I'm going to have 288 pi. Now I'm going to add these together. I'm going to say the cylinder plus the sphere. This is 180 pi plus 288 pi. And remember, pi just comes along for the ride. So 288 plus 180 equals 468 pi. And that is the volume of this capsule. All right, guys, I know that was a long video. I hope you guys found it helpful.